What's up, everybody? Yes, this is yours truly, Robert Ferguson, aka Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. And it's Fat Loss Friday. I said I would be here. I said I would do something. And you know what? We're going to talk about something that everyone, if you're not talking about it, you're thinking about it. And I'm talking about putting you in a position where, God forbid, something happens to you and you're not able to be there or do things for your family. You know what? We all eventually at one time or another are not going to be on this earth. And it is pretty empowering to know that you have done something for your family. God forbid if something like that happens. So today I'm working I want to call it a Steve Harvey afro. You know, once a month, I let my hair grow out. I go out to my barber and I say, hey, let's trim it up. And then I walk around town with my little fro. A lot of people don't see me like this or have never seen me this way. And they go, hey, interesting. Sometimes people give me the thumbs up and sometimes people say, hey, I like it the way it used to look. Regardless, it doesn't matter what my hair looks like today. Some of you are catching me for the very first time. And I want to say thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, and share with other people because our goal is to share because we care. And oftentimes I will bring someone in and have a conversation that is not about a recipe, that's not about nutrition, it's not about fitness, it's not about how to improve metabolic health. It's about some of the things that can cause stress in one's life. And even though you don't realize you're stressed about it, that stress can secrete these hormones called cortisol. And cortisol and epinephrine, adrenaline, can put you in a position where you start storing some body fat. Now, we're not going to talk about the body fat and how to eat and all that, but we are going to talk about something that causes a lot of stress. And this is something that is really close to my heart because I have two daughters and I love them with all my heart. And I want to do what I can while I can. And so the person who you're going to meet today, who is a wealth advisor, I think she's more than that. I've had the privilege of getting to a point where I call her my friend. She's been my client. I admire her for many reasons. I met her years ago. And the message that she is sharing is one that we all can benefit from. So whether you're catching this live or you're catching a replay, or maybe you're on your way out to go eat dinner, mark this and please make time to listen in because like you, we're all going to learn quite a bit in this conversation I'm about to have with Carmen Herrera. So without further delay, let's bring Carmen in. What's up, Carmen?
Hey there. Hello. How are you, Robert?
Well, you know what? Let me just say I appreciate you making time because as we record this, you have had a very full week, an extremely full day.
Yes.
And you're still making time to share this important information with people.
Absolutely. It's my honor and this is what I do. And I will take any time, whatever time to share what I have to share.
And I know how good you are with what you do, but some of the things we will talk about. So as I look here, we're going to talk about estate planning. Now, I know you talk about this all the time. Some people will even regurgitate those words, but not many people really understand it. And today we're going to understand it. We're going to talk about protecting our family. God forbid for when that moment comes where we're not here to physically be there to protect them. Building wealth. And one thing that I did that was pretty smart in my life, Carmen, about 25 years ago, and we'll get into this, you guys, but I actually got a pretty good life insurance policy, couple $1 million. I don't know if I should say that out loud, actually, because, you know, just in case something happened to me, I was like, you know what? Let me at least have something in place for when I have my baby. So I did this before my babies were born, and I do keep this policy updated. I pay $105 a month. And I can borrow against it if I need it. I can use it for a lot of different things, but it's $2 million that my babies will get. And I know I'm not fully good. So today I'm going to learn some things, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you later that I need to get in place. So before we get into all that, can you give everybody a little introduction as far as who you are, what you do? And then I got 1,000 questions for you.
Oh, goodness. Well, again, I'm Carmen M. Herrera, and I am a wealth advisor. A lot of people want to know the difference in a wealth advisor and a financial advisor. I tend to not only tend to work with high net worth individuals, successful entrepreneurs, 5 million and up in revenue, but that doesn't mean I don't work with anyone else, especially since the pandemic. My client base has opened up tremendously with any and everyone because it's so easy now to reach people via what we're doing today is video conference and all those good things. So and my mission in life is to serve all of God's people. So although I am a wealth advisor and I have a great deal of high net worth individuals, I still serve everyone. I do a lot of education. I teach classes. I have actually a boot camp that just ended and another one starting in a couple of weeks, and it's all from A to Z, budgeting to estate planning. And really, my what I do day to day is helping people to create, but not only create, but to transfer wealth and transfer in the most efficient way possible. So, and I think those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. I've been doing this out of kindergarten for 30 almost 35 years. For those of you, I get people going, oh my goodness, how old is she? But I've been doing this for my whole life for the most part. And I wouldn't choose or do anything else. And I'm just glad that God chose me to be able to serve and teach his people.
Well, I love that you're a Christian, so we share that. And
Yes.
I introduced you to Kelvin Boston a while back, who owns MoneyWise.
Yes.
And as when I introduced you, I bonded with Kelvin because as he's into the financial literacy part of things, I'm into the nutrition literacy. It was
Yeah.
a perfect fit. And so I
Yes.
would go on the tour with him. And so I can see the commonalities between the work that we both do. And I love the fact that you've been doing it as long as you do it. And I listened to your audio share the other day.
Hmm.
I got up at 5 a.m., by the way. Not like that's hard. I mean, could I do that every day
I was
anyway?
going to say, when I text you, I'm like, I know you'll be up.
Yeah. I mean, I was wide awake and I listened. It was great. And then I wrote down, I had a ton of questions.
Okay.
And I love also the fact that you're not just making yourself available to people who have a significant amount of net worth.
Mm-mm.
You're here to help people. And a lot of people, it's kind of like my daughter, she's 16. She goes, Daddy, I can't get a job. I said, why can't you get a job? She goes, they say I don't have experience. So it's kind of like someone coming to you is like, I don't have money yet, but I would like to get money. So part of what you do is help people create wealth.
Yes. Yes.
So you want to start there? Like
Well, yeah.
how do you help people create wealth?
Well, first off, believe it or not, becoming wealthy or creating wealth is not just about doing some of the tangible things that we know as obvious. It's really about a mindset. It's really about changing your thoughts and making decisions that are going to help you create wealth. Because a lot of people, my motto, my slogan for 2 decades has been creating wealth from the inside out. So before I can even help you determine what your stock portfolio should look like, or build wealth, I need to make sure that not only I, but you understand what your money mindset is. See, we all have a relationship with money, whether that's from growing up and hearing our parents say things like, well, money don't grow on trees, or you got to work hard for your money. We all have some sort of money mindset. It could have been through teachers and just community, and nowadays it's definitely because of social media. So the first thing I like to do and work with people, I give my clients, even when I teach my classes, I give them assessments on their mindset. Where are they? Are they a spender? Are they a saver? Are they, you know, just living life? And because of that, how can I help you and and guide you if I don't understand where your mentality is, and then try to help you? I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I guess I am when it comes to money. So what I do first off is try to understand who you are from a mental capacity. because that's going to affect a lot of financial advisors will get frustrated with clients and because they don't follow, what they're telling them. And part of it is because they haven't taken the time to understand who they are from a mental capacity. What is their mindset? You just can't,
Mm.
how can I say this? Somebody who grew up in poverty has a whole complete different mindset than somebody who was the child of an investment banker who grew up with wealth as a child and so on. So you think differently. Somebody who may have been in poverty and think that this is all they're going to have or they'll never have. Well, that has to change, because if
Mm.
I'm going to help you actually create wealth, you have to know and believe that wealth is for you. God gives us the ability to create wealth, and He wants us to have that wealth. Otherwise, He wouldn't have said it in His word. So I dig deep early on with my clients to help them understand who they are, what their money mindset is, what those beliefs or traditions have been, and try to shift those. And then we go into doing things like the basics, believe it or not, no matter how much money they have or little. I work with clients that have $1 million and some that have a couple $100s, right? And depending on how much money you have, you need to understand where that money, not just what's coming in, but what's going out. And
Okay,
what
so
I know for
I want
sure.
to I want to pause you for a second, if you don't mind,
Okay.
because everything you're saying, if you removed money and put nutrition there, you and I are doing the exact same thing.
Exact same thing.
I mean, exact same thing. So mindset is key. And for those who are listening, like literally as we have this conversation, because a large part of my audience are people looking for nutrition, looking to lose weight. If they just listen to you and think about how you're approaching financial, all of this that we're talking about,
Mhm.
wealth, etc., it's the exact same thing when it comes to weight loss, improving health,
Mhm.
getting off meds. Where's your mindset? What
Yes.
was your mindset growing up? And as
Yes.
I'm hearing you speak, it's so interesting because I know that you're in a position where you're able to meet people right where they are.
Right where they are. Mhm.
And so when people reach out to you and they go to your website, right, and they scroll down, make sure you guys scroll down because you can reach out. Uh, and I know we have a lot to talk about, but does it begin with a free consultation or do people have to
Yes.
pay up front?
Absolutely not. Everybody gets a consultation, a complimentary, because we need to make sure that we're a good fit for each
Okay.
other. I don't take on everybody, and well, most people do buy me, but for the most part, there's times where I have to tell people or turn people in another direction. Not that I'm turning them down, but maybe they're just not where they need to be, or maybe what they want instant gratification. They want to take 10,000 and turn it into $100,000 in 6 months. I don't work like that, because just
Wow.
like when you talk about your health and I've been a part of your teaching and training, it's not an overnight success, right? It's not instant gratification. And as hard as sometimes I would kick and scream when you would tell me to do stuff, the point is creating wealth. It can be instantaneously, which we'll talk about with life insurance, but for the most part, it's going to be over a period of time. And so I don't like to work with people that are anxious and aggressive and want it right away, because that's not how it works.
See, I
So,
love that. I love that.
and one of the things too I was going to say is, no matter how much money you have or how little money you have to understand not just what's coming in, because we all understand that, but what's going out. So I know people don't like it. It's not fun, it's not sexy, but you must have a budget, or better yet, a spending plan. And so it's real important, in addition to getting the mind right, is getting, being disciplined. And so my philosophy is money needs direction. Every dollar you have needs an assignment. I'm going to say that again. Write this down. Money needs direction. Every dollar you have needs an assignment. I've been in this business for 30 plus years, and I still have a budget. I still have a spending plan. When I go to the grocery store, Robert, I know exactly ahead of time what I'm going to spend, what my limit is. So you don't want to be behind me in the line at the grocery store. If cherry season come in and they like to hike the prices up because it's a rare fruit and it's a ridiculous price, I'm like, not today. Take those off because it will take me over my budget. And sometimes I, want to treat myself and I like, okay, I'm gonna have filet. I'm not just gonna have, a regular steak. I'm going high quality this week. Then that means I adjust somewhere else. And that's what's staying in budget. And that's why when you assign your dollars, when you give your money direction, it helps you now open up and have excess in order to put away, in order to put in a stock portfolio, in order to buy life insurance to create wealth. So it's so important. People ask me, how do I get started? I'm like, well, first we need to look at your budget. A lot of people are like, oh, seriously? I'm like, seriously. Yes.
Yeah, I can see people not wanting to. It's one of those things, right? It's like when you're tight on money. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps and I had my little debit cards. Sometimes I didn't want to look and see what I had. I didn't want to know how much money I had. I
Mhm.
really didn't. Like it was like I was like, ah. And the only
Yeah.
time I wanted to look and see how much money I had is when we got paid. So would you say that a lot of people like that, which I'm gonna raise my hand and be like all those people, like do you help them come to grips or like build a confidence and a comfort with
Yes.
being able to talk about and think about their expenses?
Yes, I do. I like to think of myself as a financial physician because just like when you go to your doctor, your physical doctor, you have to be open. You have to be comfortable that what they're going to talk to you about when it comes to your health. You have to be open and comfortable when it comes to your money. And believe it or not, I find that money having conversations with money is just as difficult about money is just as difficult as having those conversations about your health. But yes, I do, because I'm not here for one and done. I'm here for the duration. I'm
Mm.
here, I've been doing this a very long time. I used to have my mom's friends ask me, well, why would I work with you? I'm like, well, I'll be here in 20, 30 years to talk to your children and your grandchildren. I may not be able to say that now, but what I am saying is when you work with me, I have the biggest family, Robert, in the world. I have over the last 30 plus years, um, people that used to, be my second mom and aunts and uncles, and to now brothers and sisters. And now I have a boatload of nieces and nephews. Why? Because I treat you like I treat my own family, like my mother. Like my mom say, oh, just do it. I'm like, no, mom, you need to listen to me. You need to understand in case I'm not here and someone asks you, you'll need to be able to at least have a little bit of knowledge to be able to tell them. And
Mm.
so one of the biggest things about how people do business with you, and this, people do business with who they know, like, and trust. So I'm never in a rush. It's not about me. I need you to get to know me just like I need to get to know you so that you feel comfortable. So you get to know me. And everybody that gets to know me usually likes me. So I have this whole big family because if I'm going to truly help you, I need you to be able to count on me in emergency situations. I get my clients will call me about stuff I'm not even knowledgeable about. Well, I'm pretty smart and educated, and if I can't answer it, I'll connect them. I'll be that conduit. But they trust me so much with every aspect of their lives, not even sometimes finances. So yes, I do help people feel comfortable, and I share my own story, Robert. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. As a matter of fact, at 5, 6 years old, I couldn't sleep at night. Now, what 5-year-old can't sleep at night? Well, I couldn't, not because I grew up in a rat infested neighborhood, and at night I lived in a duplex, and me and my friend upstairs from us, we could hear them in the walls. I don't know if you can hear the scratching. And if
Oh
anybody's
man.
ever heard that, grew up in the hood in poverty, you know what I'm saying, crawling in the walls. And my prayer, Robert, even at 5 years old, was, Dear Jesus, please make me rich so that I and my family will not have to live this way. Now, look, at 5 years old, I really didn't know what rich meant. But what I did know was, because I didn't see it in my neighborhood, in my family, I seen it on TV, I seen it across town. But what I didn't know that it was better and it was different. And so even as a little girl and growing up, not always making right decisions. I've been young and dumb too, but I tried to make decisions so that that prayer at 5 years old would come to pass, that me and my family would not have to live this way because of the decisions, financial decisions that I have made and will continue to make to change my life. So that was a long answer to your question. But yes, I do help people feel comfortable. And I do share my story, and I share how vulnerable, and I share how I know as a young single mom didn't have gas or electricity, heat in Wisconsin, and how I had to make excuses for my daughter to stay at her dad's or my parents' house because I didn't have no heat in the house. And y'all, anybody know from the north, it ain't fun, 0 degrees to be without heat. But I share people to let you know I do know what it's like to not have money. I do know what it's like when I did start having money, not using it properly. So yes, I do. I do help people feel comfortable.
See, one of the things that I mean, there's quite a few things that stood out with what you just shared.
Hmm.
I think about like if I'm coaching someone, and this is so I'm just gonna share with you from my perspective based on what you just said.
Hmm.
Same as when you're working with someone and you get to know that person. The more time you spend with them, the more powerful and better able you are to help them.
Right.
Right. So when I used to work with a lot of pro boxers, I was very effective in a short period of time. But if I was working with them for 2, 3 years, I knew their body. I knew
Right.
where how they were going to get the better response. Same as when I'm coaching a person. The more I'm in contact with my clients, the more I can help them. So the value between me and the client, if I'm coaching you for 3 years, man, we're so much rich together
Right.
compared to the first month working together.
Yes.
And I picked that up from you. So if someone
Yes.
gets with you, my question is there's a way for them to stay in touch with you. It's not like a one and done, right? You're set up where you can help them, keep them up to date,
Yes.
make edits or changes to certain policies along the way, right?
Yes. So I've had clients for many, many years. And the one rule is we always have an annual checkup, just like you would if you went to your doctor to check up and do all your testing with whatever, whether they have life insurance with me, because you're like, why would you check up on life insurance? Well, a lot of times life insurance that I sell is tied to savings and investing. So we need to check up. But I manage a lot of money, and we have to at least annually, sometimes semi-annually, sometimes even quarterly. It depends on the client. Some clients I have to hold hand a little closer and nurture them a little more. Some clients I gotta like stalk them to even meet because they're moving around, they're moving and shaking, especially business owners, successful business owners. They're like, Carmen, okay, I'm good. I'm like, no, 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 no. You need to talk. We need to talk. It's time to talk. So I continuously, and although I always tell people, send me an email, but I just got a text from a client asking, do I have a few minutes? Not tonight, they know that, but can we talk on Monday morning? And I'll respond respectfully and say either I have time or I don't have time. In most cases, I don't have time, but I said I'll send you an email so we can coordinate a time that works for both of us. But I'm accessible. The one thing that I find that a lot of people fall into is when they work with a financial professional like myself, they're inaccessible, or they're unresponsive, or once they get the money, they never hear from them again. I can put you on the phone right now with a client 15 years later, and like, she always reviews my account on an annual. And if I call her because I have a question, she always responds. And I just think that's the way you should do it. This is not a job for me. It's not a career for me. This is my calling. I'm walking in purpose. And when you do that, when you know you're doing like you, Robert, you're accessible to people. There's not one time that I've ever texted you or emailed you that you haven't been responsive. So yes, it's never a one and done. I mean, I I've never lost a client. I'm being honest with you. I fired a few clients. You're like, okay, you need to go to Merrill Lynch. She's like, I can't work with you. I have let go of a few people, but I've never been let go of, which is a good thing.
All right, see, Carmen M. Herrera. Don't stop, won't stop. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes,
all right, so all right, everyone who is watching this, I want you to hear us. If you haven't heard anything, I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to ask Carmen to share with you guys. I want to talk about life insurance because here in my gut, I go on Facebook, I go on social media, I send my heart out to all these families, but you see it almost weekly, at least
mhm,
monthly for most people.
mhm.
Someone is doing a GoFundMe because someone died unexpectedly.
Yes,
And I feel for them. And there's people that I mean, it may not be a lot of money, but I just feel for them. I may
yes,
throw $5, put it on my credit card just to help them out. Can we talk about the importance of life insurance? What people can do right now? I mean, when I go to sleep at night, I actually have peace knowing, God forbid, if I don't wake up tomorrow, my daughters know I have an envelope. My ex-wife has access to the policy. If something happens to me, at least I know they don't have to do a GoFundMe.
yes, yes. So let me say this. Life insurance is the easiest and cheapest way to create and transfer wealth. I'll say that again. Life insurance is the easiest, not the only, but it is the easiest way to create and transfer wealth. And the reason why it's the easiest
Well,
because
can you say it one more
they,
time for my mom? Because she's watching this. Because I need my mom to
mom,
hear that.
life insurance is the easiest and less expensive way to create and transfer wealth. Why? Because the day you sign that policy and pay your first premium, you take out $1 million life insurance policy, you have now created instantly that day $1 million legacy. Period. Now you can do it through investing, you can do it through real estate, but usually from investing, it takes people 20, 30, 40 years to accumulate $1 million and $1 million that will actually be taxable at transfer. But a life insurance death benefit, that $1 million is income tax free. So you have now created an instant legacy and transferred wealth to your loved ones free of income taxation. There's nothing else like it. Now you can do that with a Roth IRA, but again, it's going to take you 30 years to save money in a Roth IRA because you can only put like $6,500 in it. So it'll probably take you more than 30 years to create that income tax transfer. But life insurance day one is the way you transfer wealth. That's why I'm so big about it. That's why that's all I talk about. And I tell people, especially people in the minority community, in the Black community, I'm gonna just keep it real. We need to do more of. We need to create and transfer wealth. That's the only way you can do that. And then, like Robert said, why do we have to have these GoFundMe? I had to help bury a loved one last year, and the first thing was GoFundMe because she was a young individual, no life insurance. Parents didn't have any savings or investments, anything they could rely on. So of course they called certain people to help fund the burial. Well, life we shouldn't have to put that burden on loved ones and family members. I've seen the drama where people, stressing and struggling to put Big Mama in the grave. Why? Because there wasn't even a simple burial policy. Now, I believe in going far beyond a burial policy, but that's the least you could do for your loved ones so they're not burdened with the expense of putting you away, is have a burial policy. But for those of us who are very serious about changing the trajectory of our bloodline and creating wealth for our children and our children's children, life insurance is the easiest way to do that. So I'm a big fan of life insurance. I sell life insurance all the time. Sold several $100,000 this past week, and I would love to assist you. And then, Robert, if you let me continue, life
Mhm.
insurance is not just about a death benefit. Life insurance, different types. There's different types. There's two kinds. There's a permanent and then there's temporary. But permanent insurance is meant, like you have, Robert, to last a lifetime. But in addition to just having the death benefit, it accumulates cash. It accumulates cash income tax free. And if you pull it out correctly, it comes out income tax free. It's a great way. I work with my clients to supplement retirement. It's a great way. Over years, I've seen people send kids to college. I've been doing this that long. It's a great way. Well, heck, you just want to go on a vacation. You just want to buy a house. You can pull that money out of the life insurance policy without any taxation, unlike a qualified plan like a 401k, like an IRA. You can't just pull that out if you're under age 59 and a half without any kind of income tax or even penalty, because it's not meant for you to use but for that time when you retire. Whereas life insurance, you, especially if you're young, I encourage you, you did it, Robert, when you were young, and it's
I did
less
one
expensive.
thing right, everybody. One
Yay!
thing right.
I remember when you told me that a while back, and I'm like, I love you for that, because that's the one thing, even young people, if I can tell you, like now, I've had a client, Robert, and he was probably early 20s, and I introduced life insurance. He wanted to put a couple $100 a month into a mutual fund, and we did, and I thought that was great. He was young, he was starting early, and I said, have you ever considered life insurance? He's like, well, I'm kind of young, I'm not married, I don't even have kids. And my question to him was, well, do you plan on being single and parentless for the rest of your life? He was like, what? Meaning, do you plan on being single and never marrying or having children? He's like, absolutely not. I plan on, when that right person comes, to get married, and I hope to have 3, 4 kids. I'm like, that's why you need life insurance now. So just what you did. So kudos to you, my brother.
I mean, hey, I've made a lot of mistakes. Let me tell you.
Well, that
But
was
that's
one.
like
That was a great one. That great
that. Yeah,
accomplishment.
that was one. So everyone, look, reach out to Carmen. If you watch this, whether you're live, you're catching a replay, it's 2029, whatever year it is. Reach out to Carmen. Everyone will benefit from getting a life insurance policy, and she can break
Yes.
it down and help you. I mean, everyone, even some of
Everyone.
my clients and all my coaches, you guys, if you don't have something in place right now, reach out to Carmen. Just have a conversation with it. It doesn't cost you anything, but
Nope.
just do it, because I don't know I don't know if you're 69, if you know, there's something for you, and it's something
Yeah.
that you can leave for your kids. I mean, do it.
And one other thing, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're in business and you have maybe business partners, life insurance is a great tool for business succession. And so there may be things that you never thought about and that you might want to put in place, even if it's temporarily while you're in business, so that when that time comes and you transition, you or partner transition, you can use the life insurance to supplement the shares to the deceased partner, or key person in your business. So I love using life insurance, and I do it a lot in business succession planning. So for those of you who are in business together or have a business, whether you're entrepreneur, partnership, even corporations, we have companies that buy businesses on key employees. So that's a whole nother story where you can
Mm.
cherry pick the executive that you want to um, purchase this life insurance policy on as a benefit, and the premium that is paid is tax deductible to the company. It is just amazing. So a lot of corporations will take out big life insurance policies on their key CEO, CFO, see all the O's, and key
Mhm.
executives, a policy, and they get the write off. It's called an executive bonus. It's IRS tax code 162. IRS tax code 162, and they get to deduct or from the taxes of the business that premium that they bonus to that executive or employee. So life insurance is a great tool in business planning. I just had to
Yeah.
put that in there.
No, no,
So
I'm glad you did that, because when I did my first infomercial, I remember the company I was working with, they got insurance on me
mhm.
because I was the face of a product.
Key person insurance. Yep.
Yeah, they were spending a ton of money. I was being branded, and I believe it was like $7 million.
There you go.
And I remember going, wait a minute. So if something happens to me, not my family gets that 7 million, but these guys, it's
Thank you.
like it made
And
them
it's
cut their
because
losses.
right, because they want to be able to replace you because you are a high value person in their business. So they need to replace you. And that's what that money is used for. It's called key man or key person insurance. Yes.
I
Yes.
know. Hey, I know all about it. So everybody, go to Carmen's website. Go to her website. At least do a free consultation. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Um, Now I want to bring up something, and you can talk about. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but when I watched TV and I saw when Prince died, I was like, wait a minute, he didn't
Mm.
have a will. Like, I mean, what is going
No.
on here? And then I remember I was about to do a TV show with Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
and she loves to cook and to eat.
Hmm.
And so I was talking to some executives at BET at the time, and we were actually gonna have me go out to the Hamptons and
Hmm.
spend time with Aretha, and we were gonna like see if the chemistry was there, and the chemistry was definitely there. And the
Good.
goal was to ultimately do a show. So I got to know her, and then when, of course, when she died, I find out that she didn't
Yeah.
have things in place. Can you
Nope.
speak to that? And I'm sure there's more
Absolutely.
celebrities.
First of all, I've done my research and study on our celebrities, because I use that a lot when I talk about this, which is estate planning, because I know it gets your attention. And I remember when Prince passed away, it became a vicious 6-year battle with his heirs. I mean, everybody came out the woodwork. He had several half brothers and sisters, he had cousins and friends. So it became a vicious battle. His $200 million estate was in probate for 6 years. And
Wow.
same with Aretha. Her sons were battling just a year ago, over 5 years, over her two handwritten wills. One was found in her couch. Y'all know the story, because it was never validated. So the thing is, when a will is a good thing, it's a good start. But a will, I tell people, that's only a will names your wishes. It's really just a wish document. It still has to go through the government's probate court. So even though you may say, I want my daughter to have this, I want my son, I want my grandchild to have this, it still has to be validated by the court system. It has to be signed off by a judge. So you have to go through probate. Oftentimes is months, and I've seen it years, where your family is held up in court waiting for the court system to validate it. And that's the opportunity for everybody to come out the woodworks. Ray Ray and Pookie and them come out, staking claim on your estate. And everybody has the right to stake that claim. And that's what happened in Prince's situation. It was a boatload of people that came out wanting to stake claim on his estate. So having a will is a good start, but it's not enough. Again, it's just a wish document, and it goes through the government probate system. It's very costly, and it could take years. I think you heard me talk about Bob Marley,
Hmm.
a court appointed executor, that was appointed to his estate, held his wife up in probate for 10 years. 10 years, because he didn't like Bob Marley.
Wow.
Nipsey Hussle, remember, when he passed away suddenly, he was killed. He was caring for his 10-year-old daughter. He was the guardian over her. Well, he didn't have a trust, and he didn't have a guardianship, a simple guardianship saying who should take care of her in the event of his untimely death. Well, for years, the mother that had given her up, and she fought his family to get custody of the daughter, and the mother was, on drugs and things like that. But if you don't have these very important things in place, this is what happens. It took 4 years for his family to finally win custody of the daughter that he was caring for her whole life. So it's so important to have these things. But the way you avoid going through a probate court, which again takes years and a lot of money, and I think is not to have this is very selfish of you as an individual to put your family through it. But the fix to that is having a trust.
Mm.
Now, that could be a irrevocable trust, which oftentimes I don't recommend that, because usually that's when we deal with a high net worth individual that we need to place some things that things can't be changed. Irrevocable means you can't change your mind. It is written in blood. But I do recommend a revocable living trust where you can make changes. Things change. You may like somebody today and don't like them tomorrow, or don't trust them tomorrow, or you want to make changes. Life changes, your family structure changes, things change. So a revocable living trust is a great way to make sure that your wishes are carried out. But more importantly, it's a legal document, it's a private document, and it does not have to go through court systems or probate. From the day you sign it and it is agreed upon, it is written in stone. This is what is going to happen to my assets, how my children and grandchildren and loved ones are going to receive my assets in the way I want them. And more importantly, it's private. A will is a public document. Robert, if you were to just only have a will, I could go down to the county in which you live in and pull that document and know all your business, including who your beneficiaries are. And people will pray. People live their life. We know there's a lot of bad people in this world. Wait for people to die to be able to go down there, see where the money is going, and get. So you don't want that. You don't want your kids or grandkids or someone that you have set monies aside to inherit for some predator to come around. So a
Mm.
will is public knowledge. Plus, I don't want nobody in my business. I'm just a private person. I don't want nobody knowing nothing about me, and neither should you. So that's why you need a trust, because the only people know about what's going on in that trust is you, the trustee, maybe your beneficiaries, and God. That's it.
So you would say it would be wise that everyone get a trust.
Everyone. I mean, and honestly, I mean, depending on the level of your assets, you at least need a will. I always say that. So if you got a chair, some books, and some jewelry, at least write it down and let Pookie and Ray Ray never go to court and argue. But everyone should, especially if you feel like you have, a sizable estate, whether it's your home, your personal property, your investments, all that should be designated and private. So it does. Most people, the misconception is, well, an estate plan or a trust is for the wealthy. Not true. It is for everybody. You own. I know somebody who owned a couple cars. They like cars. They collected cars. So that was their wealth, right? Some what do you call them? Antique cars and all that, but didn't have these things in place. Do you imagine the fights and arguments that happen and transpire in that
Oh yeah.
family
Hmm.
because of somebody wanted that 1965 Cutlass Camaro, whatever
Color
Camaro,
supreme, baby.
yeah,
Color
things like that,
supreme.
Seabird, all that stuff.
Right.
So yes, I do. Even if you got three cars and a house and some really nice clothes and all that, put it in a trust. Designate who gets it. Keep it out the government court system and keep it out the public.
Okay.
Yes.
So all right. So I'm gonna set up a scenario.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will relate to this. So my mom, I mean, she's getting up there. So she owns a house with her ex-husband. So he's no longer there, but
Hmm.
right now they're both on the documents to
Yeah, on
own
the
the
deed.
house.
Uh-huh.
She pays the mortgage. That's her situation. She has a small life insurance policy, whatever that is. I don't know. Let's say it's 100,000. She does not have a trust, and God forbid, I mean, her day will come, same as mine. But when she's gone with no trust, and the ex husband's gone, he's not
Is he
there.
passed away or he just
No,
not
he's
around?
just he's off having fun. Right?
Okay,
He's doing his
good,
own. He's doing his own thing, but he's still on the
good.
document. What will we do with her? A trust would actually still be very helpful to her, wouldn't it?
It would be helpful, but only for her portion of the property.
So be
So
fifty
first thing I
percent of the
would do
property.
is try to reach out to him and have a conversation about releasing his portion of that home, taking him off the deed, giving her full ownership of the house. That's the first thing while you can do that. If not, she can still have that trust, and her portion of the property would is all she would be able to pass on to her loved ones. So I'll give you an example. Depending on what state they are, and I don't know all the state laws by by heart. I would just have to look it up. Some state laws immediately that homestead goes to the the spouse. not so true in some states. So the spouse may not get it. So number one, we need to figure out what the state law says about homestead property. Her argument could be in the court that, well, he's gone. She's the one who's been taking care of it, so she has a case to be able to claim full ownership of that. But that's a whole nother conversation. She needs an attorney to help her with, so that she can stake claim to the entire piece of property. If not, if something were to happen to your mom and he's still alive, he could come, depending on the state, and claim ownership of the entire property, rightfully so, legally, even though maybe not ethically or morally, but legally he could. Or depending on the state, her portion would pass down to you and any other heirs or children that she may have. So now you're in ownership with the ex estranged husband, and then you and your siblings. So it could be, the thing about estate planning, when you have a mixed family or scenario like that, it becomes very sticky and very ugly. That's why you need to know your state laws, because if he legally gets ownership of that property, if she passes away, he's legally entitled. Now you can take him to court and say, I feel like I own it, but who's going to do all that?
Right.
And so he would get the property. He may live in it, or he would give it to his children or heirs, and you and your family is asked out. Sorry for my language, but
that's the truth.
I've seen it where people have really nice, sizable estates, a big home worth a lot of money, and because they didn't have that proper plan in place, and there was a divorce situation, and then the divorced spouse got the property, and then his children, which weren't the deceased children's children, get it, and then the deceased children, like in your situation, are just left out of the equation.
I mean,
for
a
you,
total
that may
mess.
not be a big deal, but some people it really is, and it's a total mess. And then you have to go to court, and then you're in court for years because nobody, and then the house is just who knows,
over $50,000, maybe $30,000.
In some cases, I just be like, you can have it. You can have it.
So I mean, I wanted to bring that up because that's a prime example. Because my mom is watching this, or she's gonna watch it, and I'm gonna say, Mom, you need to call. You need to email Carmen.
You can get your mom my phone number.
I mean, seriously, like, she really needs to do something about this, because that's her situation, and she's getting up there in age right now. Nothing's promised tomorrow, and I know a lot of people can relate to this, and they don't really even think about this.
Nope.
I mean, there's so many people dying suddenly right now for all kind of reasons. Cancer's on a rise like never before.
Oh my God, yes.
Younger people are passing left and right.
Left and right.
You can see where the government, not to go conspiracy here, but the government is like, well, we don't really want to educate people on this, because we end up benefiting, because a lot of this stuff we end up owning it.
Yeah, they do. They do, because people don't show up, and then it goes to the state. They really don't care about you doing this type of planning. And a lot of people don't do this type of planning. I think I read a statistic that only 42% of Americans have a will, and 27% of people over the age of 50 have a trust. It's like, gosh, so 3/4 of our nation is without planning. And so a lot of this land, homes, other assets, end up going to our government. So they don't encourage or talk about this. You'll never hear this from a government program.
Wow. And okay, so all right, so let's go deep here for a second.
Okay.
And when I say deep, it's like people will hear us have this conversation. You've done many talks in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
You put it out there, and they do nothing. In your experience, because I see it all the time, 93% of people that are type 2 diabetics, we're able to help them go into remission or reverse it. We're getting people off blood pressure medication all the time. I mean, I'm making like tons of progress. I mean, I've watched you. I mean, like I celebrate you big time, Carmen, because I know you are like amazing. You follow the plan.
I
I
do.
mean,
I try.
you really do. I mean, you really do. Like, I mean, as a coach out loud, just watch. I watch you do it. Like,
Yes.
there's not many people that do it like you.
Thank you.
But you're like on point, like big time. So you get it. But I watch people go, yeah, I'm just gonna not do nothing.
Mm.
So all these people who know they don't have an estate plan. They don't have a will. Is it that they think it's going to cost too much? Like what's blocking them from doing this? Like I know right now
Yeah.
because of our conversation, and you can, we can do another live in a month and you can go, yeah, Robert didn't do what he said he was going to do. I'm telling you right now, I don't have an estate plan,
Okay. Okay.
but I want an estate plan. It
Yes,
makes sense.
it
Whether
does.
whether I only got a car. You know what I mean? It's like do something. So so what's your thoughts on why people like what could
Well,
you
you
share right now that would help people not be stuck?
well, you just said it. A lot of people, first I told you that people think it's just for the wealth. You have to have a whole lot of money, a whole lot of assets. When I said no, that's not true. And a lot of people frown front away from it because they think it is a big expense, and it can be. Now depending on the complexity of your estate, if you're you have an estate $5-10 million, there's probably certain other things that we want to put in place, we need to put in place. It may not just be one trust, it could be a several different trusts. It might be a revocable living trust and an irrevocable living trust for certain assets, so it can be depending on your net worth. It can get a little more complex and it can get more expensive. But the average estate plan, if you were to go to an estate planning attorney, a matter of fact, I'll share this story. I was speaking at a conference last year, and then I did a workshop. And lo and behold, a workshop full of people. And I went through my spiel, did all my stuff, and offered my estate planning services, and which was very reasonable. And the estate planning attorneys, there were two sitting in my workshop wanting to hear what I said. First of all, they gave me kudos and said the sister know what she's talking about, number one. And secondly, her price, you can't beat it. So they actually validated me and endorsed me. They said, because before, when you walk in our doors, and I'm here in Texas, and they were in the Woodlands, Texas, which is a high, what do you call it, net worth community. They said, when you walk in the door or before you walk in the door, our cost is $3,500 before we even talk to you. Like, you open the door, you're already billed for $3,500. And then depending, it's going to go up from there. And my cost at the time was half of that. And part of it is because I have a system. It's an online system. I do have attorneys. I'm not an attorney. I don't draft the documents, but I do pay attorneys to draft the documents on my team. But because I have a very sophisticated electronic, and that's the way to go these days, system, it's half the price. And so it doesn't cost a lot. And you get your will, your trust, all your power, your both powers of attorney, which is financial power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney, which are two very, very critical documents that everybody needs. Even if you don't have a will, you definitely need to know who and pick who's going to take care of your money and your expenses and your finances if you become incapacitated, or who's going to make medical decisions in the event you can't for yourself. So it's got to be two trust or one trusted person. And then you get your advance directive, which is critical. I experienced this with my own father. An advance directive or living will is that end of life decision. Do you pull the plug or not? Do you resuscitate or not? Do you give medicine or not to keep you living? And I remember when we did my dad's estate plan, my dad was like, don't do anything. Don't resuscitate. Don't give me no medicine. I'm ready to go home and see Jesus. That was my dad's response. Of course, my mom was like, oh, Lord, and she was crying. I'm like, and when the time came, I had to be the one who really enforced that to happen, and it was a legal document. So whether my mother and brothers and other family members didn't like it, it was his wishes to not. He was ready when the time came to go. Now I
Mm.
told my daughter, you better leave me plugged up because I'm coming back. I don't care how long it takes. I'm coming back. You better not pull the plug. But that's my decision, right? And she told my mama, seriously, what if it's like a few years? I'm like, I'm coming back. So those are the type of things you get in a full estate plan that everybody should have, at a very minimum cost.
Wow. You know what? Just hearing you explain all of this, I think of myself and how when I meet people, people don't know nutrition. It's not taught, and people don't know finances, and they don't know the things that you provide to people as far as setting
Mhm.
themselves up. And every dad that I know, every husband and wife that I know, they all would benefit from spending time with you and
Oh,
getting things
yes.
set up. So I just want to encourage people to get out of whatever shell you're in, and you know what? Reach out to Carmen
Please do. Yes.
and
Yes.
at least have the conversation.
Yeah.
You
And you
know,
don't have to work with me. Just have that conversation to spark you to reach out to someone locally. By the way, I do business all over the country from New York to California. I have no boundaries, but it don't have to be me, but let's talk about it.
yeah. Well, I'm telling them they should make it
Okay,
you.
baby, it should be.
Okay. That's kind of like if you said, "Hey, go to any nutritionist or any dietitian." I can tell you right now, I could put you on the phone with hundreds of my clients who are happy they didn't go with other
Yeah.
dietitians and nutritionists
Yeah.
because some of them are indoctrinated to teach and provide information that is somewhat biased and is not really meeting that person where they are. And so
Right.
people end up going on certain medications when that could have been avoided.
Could have been avoided.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, so the goal is let's get people informed so they don't fall prey to misinformation.
Yes.
So
And
I
Robert,
know I learned from you when I heard you the other morning, and I am hearing it very loud and clear that one of the best things we can all do is an estate planning.
mhm,
Now, let's look at the extreme where you have like a dad that works at Chuck E. Cheese and
mhm,
he's feeling it, or a mom who is a single parent raising 3 kids. She's a nurse. She makes decent money, but you know, it takes a lot of money to live these days. And
right.
she's like, I want to do an estate planning, but I may not have $1,500 that I can just give Carmen. Is there a payment plan opportunity, or is it save up your money until you have whatever
Yeah,
your minimum is?
there is. I want to go into detail. We can talk about that if you call me, or reach out to
No, I
me
mean
via
as
email.
long as there's an
Yes.
opportunity, you know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
there's
there is. There
because
is.
some people are like, sounds great. This is for people who got money. I'm struggling every month. I just paid the light bill. It was about to get turned off, but I really
Yes,
do want
I
to do
will work
something.
with you. I will
Okay.
work with
Ma-
you. Yes.
That's it, right? I mean, that's your tagline.
Well, I will work with you.
I will work with you.
And I do
Call
that all the time. All the time.
call
Robert, I
Carmen
teach
M. Herrera.
Carmen M. Herrera. You know, I teach a boot camp that's only like $300, and I work with people on a $300 payment. So I will
Ooh,
work. Yeah.
wow. So when is the
And
next boot camp?
the next boot camp actually starts April 29th. And
Okay,
if
you
you
guys, April
reach out
29th.
to me, I'll send you the flyer too. I sent you
So
one
what
before.
what will people learn if they go to the boot camp?
So the boot camp is a 60-day financial challenge boot camp for 60 days straight. Every morning in your inbox will be a devotion, some work, some just financial information, tools, all kind of stuff. It's pretty intense, especially that first few weeks. It's a boot camp, right? It's supposed to be like a physical boot camp. It's not supposed to be easy breezy. So I do send a lot of information, a lot of stuff for you to do. Then you get me live and in person every Monday starting the 29th for 8 weeks. Actually, we take Memorial Day off. So it'll be a 9-week camp that you get me live and in person on Zoom for an hour, hour and a half of me teaching everything from budgeting, because you have to start. Budgeting is the blueprint. It is the architectural design for any success. I said that earlier. Whether you have a lot of money or little money, if you're not counting the cost, if you're not giving your money direction, then shame on you. You're just walking through life haphazardly, spending money and not really counting the cost. So I start with budgeting. I deal with debt. We spend a few sessions on investing, from the investing basics to how to invest, how to choose your investments, how to do research, how to create an investment plan. And then the last two sessions is my favorite, which is legacy planning. I spent a whole session on life insurance, one whole session on life insurance. What is life insurance, how it works, the different kinds of life insurance, the ins and out. And then the last session we spend talking about estate planning. So I go
Mm.
through a pretty intense course. So you get all of that for less than $300, y'all. Come on. I told my dear friend, Dr. George Fraser, he was like, you got to be kidding me. He was mad. He was like, that's a $5,000 masterclass. And you're charging. I said, well, I'm just doing it because I care. But more importantly, especially for you believers, I tie it all to scripture. Everything about money and finances is in scripture. So you'll get, like I said, daily devotion. My classes are tied to biblical teachings around scripture, the things that God and Jesus said when it comes to his money and resources, because none of it belongs to us. So if you
Mm.
truly want to learn how to get your money right from a biblical capacity, you should be in my boot camp. I promise you, you won't regret it. People, I get raised. One of my boot campers just sent me 2 emails, Robert, this past week. Like, you need to start talking more about this and what people get, not just inviting them to it. This has been amazing. My life has changed. I get all this. My life has changed. I'll never go back. So it's a great learning session. And if you can't be there live for those 8-week live sessions, you get the recording and the slides. I make sure you get it even if you can't be there, because life be life, right? You can't always be there. So
Well,
April
well, you know,
29th.
well, it's interesting you say that, because right now, as you're sharing, the other day, like I recently partnered with this company that, in my 29 years of doing this, they have something that is the best thing I've ever seen as far as being able to help people when it comes to their health, their nutrition, weight loss, improving overall health. And I now have partnered with them. So I reached out to the first lady of a church that's local to me, and I've done a lot of work with them, and I've even spoken at their church a couple of times. And I said, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" Because her passion, her name is Dr. K,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm mentioning her name because I'm going to connect you to.
Oh, good.
Um,
Yes.
I'm going to connect you with her because she's on a mission to help people, and she really wants to help people who are underserved and under resourced.
Mm-hmm.
And I share with her this product and this testing, which I mentioned to you before. And I'm telling you, I have not seen anything like this nowhere near. And in a short period of time, I'm seeing people get amazing results, which makes me even more excited to share it. And I have good relationships with quite a few churches.
Yeah.
But what you're like, and then, the late, great Jack LaLanne used to tell me all the time, he said, Robert, if you're excited about something, don't keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm supposed to connect you with Dr. K, because they're on a mission to help people.
Oh, good.
And that's just one church.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's like, I think that what you offer, and then years ago, I got to meet Dr. Frederick Price,
Oh,
and
I loved
I
him.
ended up working with a couple of his kids. Um, his his wife was totally inspired, and then they invited me to the church because he had retired, and they invited me because he was there, and I got a chance to like meet him in person. I mean, it was like you thought I was meeting Michael Jackson.
I loved him. I
Yeah,
loved
he
him.
he was he was amazing. But their
Oh,
church is forward thinking like this, and I don't think they
mhm.
have someone like you in their church. So I want to do that introduction
Please
also.
do. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'm saying it
Yeah.
live because I mean what you're
I'm
doing
holding you
is,
to that too. Y'all heard him, right?
but you know what I mean? It's like it just bothers me like in a big way to watch, because I've been in the room with the TD Jakeses, I've been with Bishop Blake and all these people. I've done work and been at Joyce Meyer's place. I've been at all these people who are really popular. A lot of them sometimes, and I'm not saying these people are that way, but
Mhm.
many people, they're not willing to share.
Ah,
You know what I mean? Everybody's talking and they're talking big, but at the
Mm,
end of the day, they're not willing to like do the introductions and keep
yes.
it moving because they're thinking about how do I get something out of this?
Right.
And
Yes.
people need to know what you're doing and what you're making available.
Yes. And I don't do it. Like I said, I one of my past boot campers, she was like, sis, why are you not charging a few $1,000s for this? I said, because I am commanded to serve and help people, period. I want to make it accessible where people, even if they have to do a payment plan for $300, right? Go figure, that they can be here and attend this very important, because what I do know is the things I do and I help people with changes lives. I know that for sure because it's not me. I'm just a conduit. It's coming from above. And so I want to make sure I can't totally give my time. I wish I could. I wish I had it like that where I can just do it all for free. Because if I could, I would. And that's why it's so minimum. And I get people saying this should be 3,000, 5,000, and it probably should. How many times do you get a seasoned, accomplished, award-winning financial professional like myself traveled the nation with Black Enterprise Magazine? I was Black Enterprise Magazine. Y'all know Black Enterprise Magazine. Go to financial advisor. I've worked with Russell Simmons and Dr. Chavez, doing financial literacy education in the community. I've gotten 10, 20 awards because of the things I do. And I'm not bragging, Robert. I'm just saying I've earned my right, but I'm not doing it because I'm here to make money. I'm doing it because it's coming from here and because it is my calling. So God takes care of me because I'm walking in purpose and I'm obeying. So I want any and everybody from here. I just made one of my boot campers was from South Carolina, and she went through the class and she totally like I need you to be my financial advisor. She just became a personal client yesterday. We did the paperwork, but she was like, there's nobody else I would want to help me but you because you just changed my life.
All right.
So
So
I know
you and I, we need to write a book together.
we should. And I want to say to you is, and I talk about this a lot because I have a lot of friends in the health and wellness business, and that's the thing, health and wellness. And so they asked me to come talk. And I tell you, without your health, what good is the wealth if you can't enjoy it? Without your health, what good is the wealth? What good is doing all the things that I teach if you're not healthy? If you're sick, or you got to spend all this extra money, on medications and treatments and or in the bed. So Robert, I'm really passionate about health and wellness. Matter of fact, somebody invited me to go speak in St. Martin on at a health retreat, but talking about money. So so
Well, I mean,
let's
it
write that
makes
book.
sense.
Let's write that book because Mr. Boston told me I wasn't there yet until
Well, you
even
know
though
what? I will. I am coming to Houston.
when are you coming to 27th?
Yeah, I'm coming.
You
And
didn't
and
tell
I
me
and I and I
that.
and I've called my man
What
and
did he
his
say?
team. Well, they are just horrible at responding.
Well, I want to put you in touch with, and we can talk about this offline. My
Oh no,
local person.
trust me, I'm not done. So I'm going to go to his wife because I know that's, and I've been avoiding that, but because of his situation, it's been a little difficult.
Oh
But
yeah,
I know if I show up, we're going to show out and have some fun. So it's going
yes.
to happen. So I'm coming anyway.
Very
So
good.
you and I will get a chance to talk, and then
Okay.
I also miss talking to you around all the big boxing and the MMA fights.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we boxing partners, so we need to. Yeah,
Okay,
we
well,
need
I
to talk
mean,
about
come on, you can't be disappearing on me.
it. Be busy. I know. I know.
No, I'm gonna
Well,
reach
I'll let
out to you because you are very fun. I really enjoy I love that you get it and it's fun. So I'll see you in a few weeks or a couple weeks and
good.
we'll
Couple
talk
weeks.
about everything. But
Sounds good.
and then get
Thank
me
you so
information
much.
on your boot camp. Give me information and I will share it on my Facebook
Okay.
and social media and tell people about it. And then I'll put together some clips of our conversation here so that people can
Thank
get
you.
short little sound bites. But thank
Thank
you
you.
for. I know you had a long day, so thank you for
It's
doing that.
Friday night. It's almost 7:30. Yeah, I've had a long week, so I'm ready to woosah.
Right. So
But
then
it was
we'll
my
and
joy and pleasure, Robert, to be here with you and your audience. I hope that each and everybody will take the time to reach out to me. It will cost you nothing. I promise you it'll be well worth the time. And as I said earlier, I will work with you.
All right, well, I'll push it. So give it a few days, and you'll start to see some people reach out.
Absolutely.
But
Thank you, my
again,
friend.
thank you, and we'll connect next week at the latest. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, you
Have a
guys.
good
That is Carmen M. Herrera, the one and only, who is a wealth advisor, someone that we all want to have as part of our lives, because I'm about to become a client, which I should have been actually months ago, if not a year ago. So I will definitely be one of your clients. So out of all of this, you got one. So we'll go from there. But I'm looking forward to breaking bread with you in person.
All right, my friend. See you soon.
All right, you
Take
guys,
care, y'all. God
enjoy.
bless.
Remember, share. We share. Both of us share because we actually care.
We do.
So until the next one, I'm Robert Ferguson. And again, you got to meet the wealth advisor, Miss Carmen M. Herrera. And until the next one, God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.